Hey everyone, so there's a video that's going around with a few people who are going to be mirroring. It's part of a documentary about Shelly Luben, which is this porn actress that quit the industry and then came out and criticised it and basically talked about her traumas throughout it. And this whole documentary is basically seeking to discredit what she's saying. Well, Shelly Luben was saying that she basically got raped effectively throughout her career, in terms of having sex when she didn't want it, getting coerced, and all this stuff. And this really creepy-looking guy talks about the definition of rape. California Penal Code Section 261-269 defines rape as sexual intercourse with a person not your spouse without their consent through force, violence, coercion, duress, menace, or the threat of immediate unlawful bodily harm. First of all, rape isn't sexual intercourse. The intercourse implies some level of cooperation there. Okay, some kind of agency there. It's not intercourse. It can be penetration. Rape can be, but isn't limited to, vaginal, anal, or oral penetration. But to classify it as sexual intercourse, even just the language of this definition of rape in this penal code, I think, is terrible. But then it says, yeah, but then not your spouse. So what? You can't get raped by your spouse? What the fuck? Why is that in there? That's ridiculous. Am I missing something there? Yeah, through force, violence, coercion, duress, menace, or the threat of. So why is it not possible that a porn actress could have been having sex under coercion or under duress? Why is that not possible? In fact, we know that it hasn't been the case that porn actresses have done so with the threat of immediate unlawful bodily harm. I mean, Linda Lovelace, for one example. Are you saying this doesn't happen at all? This whole video seeks to kind of destroy Shelly Luben, this one person, but in trying so hard to discredit what she's saying, it comes across, for the most part, that it's like, there's nothing wrong with porn. Everybody loves it. There's no problems. Get over it. She's crazy. There's nothing ever bad ever happens in the sex industry. That's the general feeling of this video. So it's more than just trying to argue against Shelly Luben, this one person. And it says, or where the person being allegedly raped is capable of giving effective legal consent because of several different reasons. One of them is if they are intoxicated or drugged. Yeah, so this is one of the things that Shelly Luben was saying, is that she was intoxicated a lot of the time. Under this definition, she would therefore not be capable of giving effective legal consent. So what's the problem with that? But also, in this definition it says where the person being allegedly raped. Now, this is a penal code definition of what rape is, what it means to be a rape victim, what actually is rape. Okay, so then why do you put allegedly in the definition there? What is the point of putting allegedly, that word allegedly, in there, if this definition is seeking to define what rape is? So then it goes on to say that it's rape if a person can be so mentally deficient that it's obvious that they can give consent. Well, that's what this guy reads out. He says, if they're so mentally deficient that it's obvious that they can't give consent. Okay, why does it have to be obvious? So what if someone just subtly doesn't seem to be that into it? Then go ahead and ram it straight in there. It's not a problem. It has to be obvious that they're not wanting to give consent. So, someone can't be a bit timid or a bit scared or even actually going along with it, and it not seems a bit weird. It has to be obvious. And this fella goes on to say, here's her problem. She has to get around the fact that she has actively sought employment in the porn industry. Right, because if you're looking to work in the sex industry, then you can't complain about being raped or sexually abused and used. You can't. No, if you're looking for work in the sex industry, you waive your rights to complaining about any sexual abuse that might occur to you, or coercion, or this kind of thing during your time in the sex industry. You're not allowed to complain about it. Sorry, you look for work in the sex industry. What do you expect? Yeah, and then they put up this evidence against her apparently being coerced, and this comes from a guy actor that was in a gangbang scene, and he says, no, she was really into it. Actually, she really liked it. Yeah, no, she was really into it. Yeah, she didn't seem coerced at all to me. No, when I was ramming my cock up her face hole, she loved it. Yeah, I mean, she didn't say nothing, but that's kind of because her mouth was full at the time. Boom, but Well, that's it. Yeah, we can go home now. We're sorted. Yeah, one of the guys in the gangbang scene says she was okay. That's fine. Yeah. So don't you think it's possible that maybe she did what she did to have to get through this scene because it's her livelihood. I mean, yeah, a lot of this video comes on like saying, oh no, they love it here, we're on set, they love it, yeah, you can't see anybody being distressed, these women love it, we have agency, we love it just as much as the men. Don't you think that it might be the case that yes, they get through these scenes because they have to, because that's their livelihood? Now, I guess by the logic in this video, all the soldiers going out to Iraq, who are killing all these Iraqi civilians, they just love murdering civilian strangers. Yeah, they love it. They absolutely, they can't wait to do it. They love it. No, it can't be that maybe they're just doing what they have to do while they're there to get through it, and then when they get home, that's when they get the PTSD. That's when they get the trauma. That's years later. That's when they start to go mental because of the shit that they've been through. No, they chose to be there. They seem to enjoy it at the time. Everything's cushy. That logic doesn't work. Yeah, and then there's a lot of interviews of people saying, that Shelly Luben's full of shit, the sex industry's awesome, there's no drugs, there's no crying girls, there's no distress or anything, it's a big fucking party, everyone loves it. But, these are all people in these interviews that have made their living from the sex industry, who no doubt have lots of ties to it still, have lots of friends in the industry, probably still making money in the industry, most of these people, still involved, it's still their livelihood. So of course they're going to come out in support of it. When was the last time you ever heard, if a politician came to you and says, oh no, the government's not corrupt, are you going to believe him? Are you fuck? If a military general comes in and says, no, they were all just insurgents, so no civilians killed, are you going to believe him? Are you fuck? This logic of, it doesn't, Shelly Luben is someone who come out of the industry and then commented on it, and she's not the only one. We've got people like Cream Cheese is Tasty here on YouTube, same kind of thing. Came out of the industry, said that it was, full of drugs, she was very distressed, mental anguish, she was raped, sexually abused, coerced. Is she lying as well? Linda Lovelace, I'm sure she came out and said that she was coerced by her husband into doing a lot of the shit she did. And I'm sure there's lots of others as well. These people have left the industry and then commented on it afterwards. But the testimonies to argue against it are from people still within that industry, still making money off it, still with a vested interest. I just don't think that's, a stonewall pornage as they think it is. And then, one of these people that works in the sex industry, she said that she was part of the feminist movement 30 years ago, and she says, and we're still fighting against this idea that sex is something that men want and that women have. Yeah, I've been to Amsterdam, walking through the red light district. Yeah, it does really seem that sex is something that men want and that women have. Yes, it absolutely seems that way. It is sex as a commodity, and more importantly, women as a commodity. It absolutely is. What else? How else can you define it? What's happening there? And yes, of course, women also consume, sex industry products. Women got strippers, although most of the time they do it for the lulz rather than some kind of sexual gratification. But so yes, there's a few grey areas, of course. But this video just seems to be, it's so desperate to argue against everything that Shelly Luben says and break her down as a person individually. It's something we see on YouTube all the time here. Instead of addressing the arguments, what I see a lot of is breaking down the individuals making the arguments. They don't address what's actually being said, they address why they think it's being said. So that's annoying part of it. But yeah, this video apparently is going to get mirrored all over the shop. So have fun with it. I think it's a load of bullshit. But that's all. Okay, bye.